Happy Thanksgiving here from the Beniverse Movie Channel. My name is Ben Friedman. Over this Thanksgiving holiday, I got the chance to finally sit down and watch David Fincher's The Killer. This is his newest Netflix movie released. He's had now a few titles with Netflix, Mank being his only film, but he of course did Mindhunter, and he was the executive producer for House of Cards for a few years there. So he's had this relationship with Netflix. David Fincher is back in the fold, kind of doing what he's most known for, which is working with sociopaths slash psychopaths and making a film about them and how they live their lives, and also being about far more. The Killer follows Michael Fassbender as the titular character, the killer. Here in this movie, the killer, after a hit goes wrong, is being chased across the world, and he has to kind of go out and basically save himself. And in this movie, Michael Fassbender is cold, methodical, and he has a very big ego. He believes himself to be perfect, and maybe that is the reason and the downfall to everything going on. The story of the killer requires that a narration is always happening. Fassbender is a man of little words in here, but he is constantly narrating this film. And in these narrations, you understand his worldview and how he believes himself to think. But believing how you think versus how you actually behave are two separate things. And that's something the audience is quickly attuned to in this movie. The killer believes himself to be this incredible character, this incredible killer. And very quickly on, we learn that he is someone who has to break his set of rules, if you will. He is not somebody who can do everything the way he describes. And this movie is almost a comedy of errors, where every few scenes we follow this killer and he says and gives these long monologues about how his preciseness and how everything, how you have to behave to do the crimes and life that he lives. And then a few minutes later, we'll see him break those rules. And it's that constant back and forth that makes this film a really fun exploration of this titular character. I will fully admit this film had me in certain moments, and at other moments I struggled with the narrative flow of this movie. This is a movie that at times can feel very surface level, and the more I thought about it, and I should just say, I just finished watching this movie 10 minutes ago. I finished watching this movie and then shot the review right after. So my thoughts are very fresh, and it also means I haven't been able to just like sit with my thoughts for a very long time while reviewing this film. But when sitting here and reviewing it, I do remember watching this movie and thinking scenes of it are very slow. Scenes of it are very methodical and cold, and that is the point of it. And it also can lead to this weird cohesion to the movie where I'm watching it and I'm just thinking to myself, I kind of need it to go somewhere, and I need more to be happening. And I'm also just kind of lost with this character. And I'm kind of noticed myself fading in and out of just focusing on the narrative. One, I do believe this is the Netflix issue of this. I tried so desperately hard to see The Killer in theaters. It never came to a theater near me in Sacramento. So that was a huge bummer. I think this film is a lot of atmosphere. And I think the more you are consumed by this movie, the more you feel this worldview that the killer is in. Being in my own room, in my own house with other, things going on in my house, then I could kind of just, lose focus for like 10 seconds, and it breaks that magical illusion of the movie. David Fincher is, of course, a master director, and thus there are some scenes that are directed impeccably. Michael Fassbender is a perfect actor to pair with a David Fincher. I believe they bring out the best in each other's qualities. Tilda Swinton comes in this movie. Charles Parnell comes in this movie. There's a lot of fun side performances that come in and out. This movie is very much focusing on its relationship to David Fincher films itself. This is if you will, almost a sequel in spirit to Fight Club. It is the continuation of stories that he's explored in Zodiac, in Seven, even to a degree, stories that he's explored in The Social Network. There's the socio-economical aspect of this movie that we see in films like The Social Network and that we see in films like The Game and Fight Club. And then we also get to see some of those psychotic traits that, again, are in like films like The Social Network, but we probably more assimilate them to films like Gone Girl, like Seven, like Zodiac. So there is certainly this just incredible direction, and you can feel this movie being in conversation with the rest of Fincher's films. This is a movie that is very aware of who its director is. David Fincher is this guy with this reputation for being this highly focused, highly stylized, highly just hundreds of takes to just get the scene he wants exactly the way he wants it, which is kind of how this killer operates. And we kind of get to see the almost like lunacy of it, just the fact of how deranged you have to be to think in this way. It's kind of a fun exercise into the mind of David Fincher. And that's what I thought The Killer was. It was a fun exercise. It wasn't everything that I wanted this movie to be. I should just say, going into this movie, I had no expectations for this movie because I hadn't even watched the trailer. I heard that David Fincher was making a movie about a killer starring Michael Fassbender, and I'm like, that's all I need to know going into this movie. I don't need to see a trailer. I don't need to see images. I don't need to know what the story is about. That premise alone had me intrigued, and that's how I went into this movie. So it was all kind of just a roller coaster, and this film is methodical. It takes its time, and by the time it gets to the end, I felt myself being a little underwhelmed, but I do think this is going to be the experience of me watching it more in the future. I will probably get more and more out of it, but it is regardless still an extremely fun, enjoyable, very psychotic movie. And there is some, I will just say it, some of David Fincher's best comedy is in this film. There are 3 to 5 laugh scenes that are some of the funniest scenes I've seen in a movie this year. Michael Fassbender does a really good job. If you do get the chance, though, check out The Killer in theater. I think it's worth it. And if you don't, do see it on Netflix. Do really just try to get consumed by this movie. This is not a movie that I would really say get distracted for, because it is an easy story to get. You can wander off for this movie and kind of just let your brain go away for 5 to 10 minutes, and you'd still understand every beat that would happen. It just wouldn't be anywhere near as rewarding. So while you can still comprehend the story, the atmosphere, the tension, the tone of that is lost if you're kind of just fading in and out. With that all said, I can recommend The Killer. I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. My name is Ben Friedman, film critic. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and bye-bye.